Broadcasting from the Penguin Air Plumbing and Electrical Studios, we're your hosts, Will Hallett and Wade Rusk, and this is the Penguin Pro Show. Today on episode 15, we have Louie and Jay back in the studio. They are managers here at Penguin Air Plumbing and Electrical. We are going to be talking plumbing, specifically sewer mainline pipe bursting and lining, or what we call trenchless. The Penguin Pro Show is an informative podcast talking about air conditioning, heating, plumbing, and electrical systems in the home. Each week, we bring on a panel of professionals to educate listeners on different topics related to these systems. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome back to the show.
Thank you for having me back.
Louie.
We told Louie he wasn't invited back.
I know.
Thank you. I
He has
appreciate
to
it.
redeem himself today.
All right.
All right?
I'm going to be serious today.
And you don't have your partner in crime with you today. So Wade's not with us today,
We got Dr. Klein today.
but we have Manager Klein. We have Manager Luis Macias in the house.
Louis.
Louis, I know, but we call you.
I like Luis.
Luis. I did it on purpose. I know you don't like that. Is that okay, though?
That's all right.
We'll go Louis.
Yeah, there's other names, but it's all right.
So it's been, what, Jonathan said 3 weeks. It's been 3 weeks since we were in the studio.
How was your trip?
That's what I want to talk about.
Yeah, how was it?
Since Wade's not here, we can talk
Yeah.
about it. It was good. We went to Cabo, had a good time, relaxing time, and fished, golfed. It was a good time.
Nice.
Golf courses down there are incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, beautiful.
It's actually one place I've never been is Cabo.
You got to get down there, Mr. Golfer.
Been to most places down in that area, but never Cabo.
Yeah, you would love it. So we golfed.
That sounded like an invite.
I mean,
There we go.
I think we need to take Jay. I don't know about Louie yet, but we'll take Jay.
Yeah. He's lucky to be back on the podcast. Let's not push it.
Yeah.
I love the love here, man. I really do. I love it.
I've seen Louie golf, so I don't know if he wants to golf down there. It's really tough.
What does that mean? I'm bad at it?
No. Yeah.
Yeah, but no.
That baseball swing.
See,
Yeah.
you just need a taller tee and just set that golf ball up here.
Oh,
Yeah.
you should see this guy. It looks like he's swinging for the moon.
Yeah.
But, lots of progress. This guy can coach you along
Yeah,
the
he
way.
tried.
He did.
He tried.
No, you're athletic. You'll get it.
I just don't see how you want to aim somewhere. I just see it as a free range. Hey, see how far this ball goes. You know what I mean? It's-
Yeah, home run.
Yeah.
Home run ball.
I just couldn't find it half the time. I lost all your balls.
Oh, and some, I think.
Yeah. I
He's
went-
borrowing balls from everybody.
Uh-huh.
yeah. That was awesome.
It's fun. No, we'll get you guys out golfing again. But down there in Cabo, we golf with a caddy. And now I know why it's so important to have a caddy. Those guys know those greens. They tell you exactly where to put that putt, and it just goes right in the hole, or pretty close.
Yeah.
It's pretty impressive.
So all I need is somebody telling me what to do during golf,
Yeah,
and I would be good at it.
Yeah.
yeah. Well,
Well, then you have to do what they told you to do. That's
the hard
kind
part.
of the hard part.
that's the
What? Like, hey, hit the ball exactly at 15 miles per hour.
no.
Not 50 miles per hour, but they'll be like, hit it 78 yards and hit it on the right side of the green because it'll funnel down to the left side of the green.
That's right.
where
Okay,
the
say
pin's
that
at.
in English now.
That's
I thought
Golf
that was
language?
about as English as you can.
golf language is a different language for sure. It is.
Funnel down. All right.
And then I golfed, 4 days in a row. I've never done that. I felt like a golf pro. I've golfed Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday over the weekend up in Flagstaff.
Oh, yeah.
Man, really nice courses up there in these.
Yeah, he said it was beautiful up
Oh,
there.
incredible. These country clubs I was golfing at were pretty impressive.
Very nice.
Pretty impressive. So I'm falling in love with golf again. It's something that I want to get better at.
Yeah.
I'm not even close to what Jay is. Jay could take a whole year off and still shoot par or under. So
I don't know right now.
I
He's
just-
kind
I
of
just get
hurting.
lucky.
He's kind of hurting right now. I think you can beat him.
yeah,
Take me out.
I caused that a little bit on the last time we golfed with Jay.
Full contact.
We're not going to get into that.
Golf, what?
Yeah, it was tackle golf. So I apologize, Jay. I love you, man.
So that's what did it.
Yep.
Yeah, he tackled me on the
Tempted.
golf course.
Tempted by Wade,
Yeah.
You didn't have your chapstick either.
I didn't have my chapstick. It was a
See.
bad day all around.
That's
Yeah.
what did it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, so that's what we did. Wade caught a nice fish. He's not here to talk about it, so he doesn't have the fish story, but I'll tell you. Nice yellowfin tuna right out of the gate. That's an ahi grade tuna.
Yeah, I saw that
sushi
picture.
grade. Oh my goodness. We cooked it up at the hotel. The hotel served it up 3 different ways and had some sushi sashimi with it. It's so good.
Is this where you do a cut scene of that, Jonathan?
That is correct. You
Okay.
will see that picture with you.
Yes.
Awesome.
Great picture, actually.
But the rest of the day, man, brutal. Didn't catch much. So, but I'm glad we got that in the boat. It was a good fish to get.
Yeah,
so.
you came back like a
I
tornado.
actually in '09 was down there in Cabo and caught a huge yellowfin. I mean, we're talking over 200 pounds.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
We got so much meat out of that. We donated it all to the hotel and to the boat. They loved it.
That's
So
awesome.
yeah, it was really good. But fun time.
How do you pull that up?
It took over an hour.
Really?
And then the guys that we were fishing with down there this time, he said they've caught a black marlin that was almost over 700 pounds.
What?
It took them 11 hours to pull that thing in the boat.
Is
Holy
it,
cow.
is it just one hook or like? How
Yeah,
do
it's a big lure.
Do you spear this thing? Like, how do you do it?
Well, to get it in the boat, you can't. He couldn't even get that in the boat. They had to tow it back. Yeah,
No
too
way.
dangerous and
That's
big.
awesome.
So, yeah. So let's talk a little plumbing, Louis.
All right.
You ready for this?
Yeah.
So way back, Jonathan, episode 3, I guess, we talked about drains. And we kind of did a diagram. Well, we kind of explained how drains work. Can you kind of refresh our homeowners?
Yeah, that was kind of the tree branch
On
setup,
drains?
right?
Yeah. So how drains work, and then we'll get into lining and bursting.
Well, every time you turn on the faucet, it goes down the drain. We all know that. It goes down the drain into the wall, back down, and then it starts to make its way out of the house, and it starts to reach a bigger pipe. It looks exactly like this, actually. And then once it hits this pipe, it starts to head outside of your home into the city, into a bigger pipe. And it's just like the way I put it last time, it's like picture a tree, right? Your branches is your kitchen, your tub, your bathroom sink, you name it. And then it goes into your trunk. This is your trunk. This is how big your trunk is. As you can see, it's not that big.
What's that? 4 inches in diameter.
This is 4 inch. It's not that big. So some people flush a whole ton of paper at once. It's gonna get stuck in there, and that's when we get a call that there's a clog.
Okay.
And if you don't, this pipe right now is smooth, right? This is new pipe.
Right.
When it starts to corrode, it looks nothing like this. It gets bumpy. It's metal. You've seen metal rust. It's gonna start to flake. It's gonna start to catch stuff, and it's gonna start to break. This is a break right here.
Oh yeah.
There's a break right here on it. I don't know if you can see it.
The crack, yeah.
Yeah, there's a crack right here, and it starts to crack as metal and water start to fight each other every day. But yeah, that's but there's today we're going to talk about some solutions to this, which is pretty cool. It's probably the coolest thing I've ever done. I've been doing it for a couple years, and it's probably the coolest thing I've ever seen. And it's the most it eliminates having to tear up your home,
Okay.
which is awesome.
Yeah, so these pipes, everything comes to this main pipe that goes out to the city sewer. And what causes these, besides metal corroding, and how long ago did they start putting these metal pipes in the ground?
They were used. I mean, what do you think, Jonathan? How like the 30s, 40s?
Yeah.
It was. I mean,
So we see a lot of old homes with this pipe. Okay.
yes.
Also, there's some clay, I guess, that they used back in the day.
There's
clay
clay,
pipe,
Orangeburg.
Orangeburg. And so today they use what is it?
Plastic ABS right there on the
ABS.
table right there.
Okay.
It's Jay, can you grab that?
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit. What is
Thank you.
Wow, look how-
too, 'cause we see quite a bit of that around.
Orangeburg is basically tar paper wrapped around and dipped in tar, and wrapped till it makes a pipe 100 times. So it's not that durable. I'm surprised it's lasted 50, 60 years. I mean, some people still have it, and it's like it's working. The problem with that is that we go in there snaking a line, and when we stick the cable down there, it's tar paper. So we're just going to shred this
Tear it
thing to
up.
pieces. Sometimes we bring pieces of the pipe back on the snake. But as you can tell, this is what goes in the ground now. This is plastic, and you can just tell how thick it is.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, it's so much thicker, right? Some people say, well, it's just plastic.
And smoother too.
Right. It's just
Inside, so everything flows better.
it's plastic. It's this here has to be installed correctly simply because it is plastic. Plastic is going to take a shape of whatever way you put it in. So if you put it in sagging, it's going to sag. It's got to be professionally done. It's got to make sure you got rebar under it, and you can make sure you got salt at your joint so the roots stay away from it. Because at the end of the day, it is plastic. Cast iron, when it does finally get roots in it, it's because it's got a crack or the joints finally, the lead is starting to wear out.
Okay. So one thing that's we have to do with plastic pipe, though, is we have to dig up the yard, right?
Correct.
So to lay this, 20, 30 feet on average, probably, right, to the street or more, we have to dig up the whole yard,
Correct.
right? So we get the backhoes in there, little excavators in there,
Right.
or dig it by hand. Sometimes there's other things in the way, though, that we can't dig, right?
Correct. Like trees or
Trees or pool decking, I've
Correct.
heard.
Yeah.
Okay, or pavers or
Sidewalks,
driveways.
yeah.
or just expensive tile in general outside in
Right.
the backyard, or stamped concrete. We run into that a lot where it's like stamped concrete is not cheap.
No.
We run into that a lot, which now we have the technology nowadays to where we can avoid. If your pipe is a good candidate, we can go out there and just make a repair without having to tear up your home. Worst case scenario, maybe one hole, but we always try to find where there's dirt. There's always dirt somewhere. So we try to find that end or beginning spot with dirt, and we can perform our CIPP. It's called the cured in place pipe.
Okay, so instead of digging up the whole yard, we have this lining, trenchless. It's been around actually quite a while. We're looking that up.
Yeah.
It probably has come on a lot stronger in the last few years. We know that with the technology we have today to do this, what you talked about, you'd find dirt on two areas, like one end and then the other, and then
That's for a trench.
explain that how trenchless works.
A trenchless is a different method. It's basically if you were to, this is where Jonathan's going to do his cutscene. But you picture like a missile head, right, with a cable attached to the end of it. So you have kind of like it looks like that, right? And you put it at the end here, and here's your pipe. The metal head has your pipe already attached to it. So you have two holes. At the end of this head, there's a cable that goes to the end where it's going to end up at. Right along the way, it's just going to break this cast iron apart, and it's going to bring in the new, and get rid of the old.
So it's pulling on the
It's
cable's pulling it.
Someone
through.
at the other end is pulling it through. It's breaking at the old and just bringing in the new right behind it. And there's so much tension to this that it's gonna follow and create a new pitch to it. It's gonna give it that downslope. It's just an amazing thing that they have created nowadays. When lining is not an option, that's the second option to go to. So there's different options to go.
So talk
to.
about lining then. So that's actually lining the cast iron.
This is what I just described as trenchless. That's having to make two holes, one for point A and point B for the pipe to follow. A liner can nowadays, we can just break open a wall and just cut open a wall, a small slot, and put in our liner, a material in there, our resin, and it's the liner's so cool because picture like a long sock, right? A long sock that you blow in there, and then your balloon goes in there to make it stick to the pipe. So it goes in here, right? And then it just sticks to your pipe, and it hardens in about, depends how you mix it. Some people like to mix it hot. I like to give myself some time, so I like to give myself an hour, plenty of time. It'll just wait an hour, and it'll harden. It'll become a piece of the pipe, which means that if this breaks, that liner will stay intact.
So just to kind of clarify, of course, your liner is literally using the existing pipe as kind of a shell.
Correct.
Sending a whole new, pretty much inside, replacing the inside of the pipe
Correct.
with the lining all the way through.
Correct.
And then your trenchless is we're still actually replacing with brand new sections of pipe.
Correct.
It's just replacing what's there with a new section of pipe, whereas the lining reuses the old pipe, just actually creates a new liner inside of it.
Correct. Some people say it, call it as they reinforce the pipe. I like to let customers know it will reinforce it, but at the end of the day, it's still old. The earth moves, the ground shifts. When that happens and this happens to break, that liner won't break. It's a seamless pipe. There's no joints to this thing. It's a seamless pipe. There's no way roots can penetrate it. To me, it's the best thing that was ever invented, just simply because you don't have to worry about.
For sewer, not the best thing, but
Right, for sewer.
sewer.
For sewer. Yeah.
I know you love plumbing, bro.
I love it. I
love your passion. I love it.
Yeah.
No, so keep going. I interrupted. So yeah, like Jay said, there's two options. What do we like to do more here at Penguin? Is it more that you like? It sounds like you prefer the lining over trenchless.
I do prefer the lining just simply because now we can avoid. Actually, we're doing a big job right now for a customer in Scottsdale, and she loves it. We had to do just 2 holes in this huge house. She's got like 5 bathrooms, and we only had to do 2 holes outside. Everything else is done. There's different methods. There's remote starts. There's different methods. I'm talking plumbing terms.
Yeah.
But we can go in there. If a break is inside a house, say this pipe looks like this inside your house, and that's it. We can go in there and just line that area and pull it back and not have to charge you for an entire liner. So we can just do a bladder repair. It's called a bladder repair, and remove that and just charge you for that specific area and not have to tear up your home.
So just doing a
incredible.
section, because I guess we talked about tearing up front yards and
Correct.
pavers and all that stuff, but what kind of tile do people have on the inside of their home, wood
Correct.
floors? If this happens before it exits the home, underneath the slab, well, now you're having to jackhammer and cut right through their floor.
Correct.
Inside the home, which
Not only that, but would you rather have us inside your house or outside? I mean, inside we'll have to set up plastic. The inconvenience of you not having to go into that area anymore, having kids being, curious about what the hole looks like and all the, just safety
Yeah.
features.
So I'm like a customer on this stuff. So I didn't know this. You guys just brought this up. So we can line the smaller pipes,
We
like
can
the
line
shower
anything.
pipes,
Anything.
underneath the foundation.
Mhm.
Wow. So yeah, because people have nice flooring.
yeah.
That is a great invention. It
It
might be
is.
the best invention ever.
It is. Here's a cool part. Here's the cool part about it. Once we blow through it and say there's a tie-in right here, say this is your kitchen where it comes in, and all we need to do, your kitchen looks fine. We just need to send down a drill and drill through it and just drill through the liner. It takes about an hour or so. We drill through it, and now your kitchen's tied back in.
Incredible.
We don't have to open up anything.
So let's talk about on that. So you get the job done. Does that stuff have a warranty? Does it last just as long as
The manufacturer itself,
plastic pipe?
every time we line it, the manufacturer itself has us write down every liner, the material has its own number on it. So when you shoot it, right, when you shoot the liner through, you write down what it is, you write it down on a piece of paper, where you shot it, and how much chemicals you used, and the manufacturer will stand behind it for 50 years.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's amazing because if they'll come out and fix it if it fails, which is awesome. They'll send out their own technicians and fix it.
So we can guarantee that up to 50 years.
Correct. Manufacturer wise, yeah.
Wow.
That's impressive.
It is. That's how much they stand behind the product.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is becoming more and more popular. I'm an AC guy, as you know, and I'm learning so much about plumbing. And then when we got into the drains, that's a whole new world for me.
Right.
Learned that about 3 years ago, right, Jay?
Yeah.
We started bringing our drain division in.
Yeah, really started kicking it off.
And Louis, that's his expertise, is drains. You've been doing this for quite a long time, so it's good to educate our homeowners or our listeners on this, because a lot of people still like to dig. I've heard
Yeah.
plumbing companies do like to dig because they feel like they can get more money for that job, right?
Correct.
This still is something that, does it save them money in the long run or no?
Trenches, it always saves you money because now I only have to send somebody out for 2 days. The first day is dig up the holes. The second day is you pull in the new pipe, you connect them back in, and you backfill.
Okay.
That's it. It saves you a ton of money. If I had to dig 20, 30 feet, now you're talking 3-4 days, or possibly a backhoe. All I hear is numbers. All I
Right.
hear is money.
Yep.
Now it's like, hey, I'm going to dig here, I'm going to dig here. We're going to put in the new pipe, and we can save you cost by getting out of here in 2 days.
So it saves time for the customer, saves money for the customer, and it saves the house from
Correct.
being just completely dug up and
Yeah, I mean,
destroyed
you can
everywhere.
try and put the yard together as good as you can, but
Oh, it never
everybody
does.
knows if you've ever had to
Yeah.
dig a hole in your yard under the grass, whatever it is, and try and put a piece of sod, like it
Oh,
never
you're
goes
so
back
right.
the same. You can always see that line where it's been through because you just can't get it back done.
It's
the
driving
same
me
way.
nuts. You're right. I just had sprinklers replaced in the
Yeah.
house, in the front yard. Every time I pull up to the house, I'm like, I can see all the lines of where they dug, and put
Yep.
new sprinklers. It's like
Yeah.
you want to reseed the whole yard.
Yeah,
So
it'll like take forever to get back
or resod it.
and where that finally blends in.
Yeah, it drives me nuts. So
That mound that you leave so it can settle over time, I mean, you're talking a year or two later, and it still won't settle. I mean, it has to fully by itself organically compact itself. So it's
So you can see over time where that trench was.
Correct.
You just keep filling it, I guess, or
Yeah.
leveling it out.
And that's what's nice about this stuff is we can pick and choose where to put those 2 holes at to where, it can be behind a bush for looking from the front yard so they won't see it, right up against the house where they're going to put rocks back over it and it'll make it a lot harder to see. So you can really try and hide where you're going to go in with this stuff on a lot of occasions.
right. So trenchless has its own benefit. Simply because when the liner's not an option, you can always do a trenchless. The only thing is, if it's inside a house, we would have to make a hole inside. But here's the thing, though. Instead of having to trench your whole house, all we need is one. We call them potholes. All we need is one pothole inside your house, set up containment around it, and that's our point A, right? Because we don't want to put the machine inside the house because of the exhaust fumes and all that. The machine gives off, so now we pick our point B outside, and now that's our endpoint. So it's just amazing, and the pipe, the SDR pipe that actually pulls through, it's so flexible that if we don't have a window to go through, we just grab 2-3 guys and we bend the pipe as much as we can. And as it's pulling in, we're kind of we always try to, it's going and we're kind of just guiding it in.
Just kind of feeding it through.
Right.
Yeah.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I've seen the lining done once. I went to a job. I wanted to watch it a couple years ago, and it's quite impressive.
It is.
And how it hardens so fast, too. It's crazy. So when can you not line or do a trenchless application? I know we've talked about this in the episodes before. There are times where you just can't, right?
You can't do either. Yeah, that's when there's too much water holding in this pipe. So if you got your pipe here, your sewer, and we come in and we run a camera and it's filled halfway or a little bit higher, we can't, because that means this pipe is starting to sag, or it's built a channel and now it's starting to the water, there's no more cast iron. So all it's riding on, it's on dirt, right? And then it has to rise back up to that level of the cast iron and then start to drain. That we cannot do. We can't line it because the resin won't stick to it. The resin won't stick to this pipe. Not only that, but it's going to stick to dirt, right? When it's cast iron, we can't pull it through. We can't do the trenches, the 2 potholes, because it's going to follow the old pipe, right? So it's going to start to fall. You're just going to be left with another
Belly.
Another
belly.
What they call bellies.
What we
Belly
call
or
belly.
sag, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's where the water is kind of corroded the dirt underneath the pipe, right?
Correct. And
Over
that's
time.
where unfortunately that's worst case scenario, and that's where I let homeowners know to be proactive before it gets to that point, because now it's going to be, hey, I can't do anything, but I have to trench your house. That's when it gets difficult. That's the difficult discussion, because now we're talking tens of thousands of dollars. We're talking maybe a week or more of being in your house when we could have been there 2-3 days at the most.
Now, so say there's a collapse, though. Can you still?
No.
You can't do that as well?
No.
How about roots?
We can do it if we get to the collapse. We just need a pothole pothole, start there.
Like a spot repair there?
Correct.
And then you can line the rest?
Correct. And then we give options like, hey, you saw what happened already. We just want you to be proactive. That's it. We give you options, and we just let you know if you want to be proactive, I would just recommend just getting it over with, not having to deal with this ever again. That's where the lining comes in, because if it already collapsed, it's going to happen again.
Right.
These pipes are 50, 60 years old, and that's their life expectancy. And Phoenix is filled with this kind of pipe right now.
Older neighborhoods?
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, especially the central Phoenix area, Central Mesa,
Correct.
Old Town Scottsdale, all those areas are going to have all that old pipe.
Correct.
So is there anything else that customers and homeowners need to know?
If anybody's just interested and just has experienced sewer issues, I would just recommend calling us to just see what it looks like. See if you're a good candidate. If you know you're having issues and you're due, at least go out there and at least give us a call to go out there, and we'll go out there and just take a look and see what the condition of the inside is,
Yeah.
and see if you're a good candidate. That way you know what to expect. You know that you do have that option available, because if you don't, then you have to really prepare for what the cost is going to be later on. That's really what I recommend.
And just so our listeners know, what do we charge to come out and do that inspection, throw a camera down the line and do that inspection for them so they know going forward?
Right now, this month, we're doing it for $99.
$99.
Yeah,
okay.
it's usually $260, but right now we're doing $99. And if we come out And we encourage customers to be there watching the video with us so we can educate you while we're doing
love
this.
that.
Yes, while we're doing this, we want to educate you what we're talking about, because this here is a clean pipe. We want you, if you're seeing this, we want you to see how smooth and open it is, and what the comparison is going to be to a pipe that has been in the ground for 50, 60 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. We should let our listeners know to always be there watching the iPad or the camera video, so they know that's their house.
Correct.
That's because we've all heard the nightmare stories, right, of what plumbing companies have gotten away with drains and with sewer line repairs. So
Correct.
you listeners out there, and if you're looking at replacing your system, your main line system, you can get second opinions. Do we do free second opinions on that?
Yeah.
So if you do have a company that comes out, we do free second opinions. We'll go ahead and put the camera in down the line and make sure that there actually is an issue.
I like to go out there myself, especially on on drain jobs. I love, drains. When I hear drains, I love them. But I like to go out there and just educate the customer. But second opinions is always awesome, because you want to make sure sometimes that you get two different almost explanations of your pipe, because you also want to know where their knowledge is at in drains or in plumbing in general. You just want to see where they're at, and just to make sure that you will have at the end of the day, it's your home. It's where you sleep. It's where your family's at.
And this can be very expensive repair, so you do want to get second opinions on this.
Well, the problem with this is when this gives out, if you have a collapse, it usually floods. It causes a flood. You'll start showering. We had one just 2 weeks ago where she was showering the whole time the toilet was overflowing. It was overflowing coming out the bottom, and she didn't know till she stepped out.
Till she got out of the shower.
Yeah.
Well, we know for sure that there's a problem then, but we have heard stories where, people go out just for an inspection, and then all of a sudden they're being told they need a whole new sewer line. So if everything's kind of flowing a little bit, maybe get a second opinion. But yeah, if there's an emergency backup, there's an issue. So, well, great. Anything else?
No, thank you for having me back.
Yeah, welcome back.
I tried to do good today. Can you tell?
Yeah, you didn't sing. You behaved.
Smile and dial.
Smile and dial.
We almost had them.
Do you want to go ahead and tell our customers?
You missed the singing. Like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget.
Smile and dial.
There you go. Thank you guys again
That's
for
a
having
comment.
me.
That's what we have in our call center, Smile and Dial, right?
Smile and dial.
Thank you, Jonathan. You're going to have a lot of cutting to do, a lot of cut scenes. And Jay, you want to explain the chapsticks?
I think everybody needs to go back and watch episode. Do you remember what episode? 12. And that'll explain the chapstick for
So
you.
Jay goes
Very
through about
thoroughly.
3 of these in about 4 hours.
Yeah, we're seeing if that company right there will sponsor this show someday. Something that Jay
know.
should buy stock in, actually.
I don't know about sponsoring the show. I feel like I should get sponsored here, okay?
I know. You should be their sponsor.
Right?
I should be on their commercials.
Oh, yeah. You're like the Gerber baby of chapstick.
That's awesome.
Oh, yeah. So you homeowners, great. If you guys are researching this stuff and you actually live here in the Phoenix area, give us a call. We'll give you a free second opinion. We'll do an inspection for $99 right now, and that's probably going to go through the summertime, don't you think?
Yeah, and you get a free chapstick.
Oh yeah, freeze chat. Unbelievable.
We almost had Louis.
Almost did.
Almost had him. You're not invited back anymore.
No. Another month, Jonathan. Get him on the schedule. All right. Well, thank you, everybody, and have a great week.
Thanks, guys. Thank you.